Vector 61, runway 04, wind 310 gust 15, clear for takeoff.
Lobo 29, rounds are on target, fire for effect. Gun ready. Rounds away.
Right behind me is the most heavily armed gunship in history, the AC-130J Ghost Rider. This is the US Air Force's ultimate battle plane, designed specifically to provide close air support to troops on the ground. Well, today I'm out here at Cannon Air Force Base, New Mexico, to teach you about the mission, the crew, and what it's like to experience firing the weapons myself so that we can see what this gunship is truly capable of. Guys, get ready, because this is the AC-130.
I'm Major Mark Wolf. I'm a Weapons System Officer on the AC-130J Ghost Rider. Our mission set is to provide close air support to Special Operations Forces as well as other precision strike capabilities to the battlefield. We fly with a crew of 8 to 9 crew members, 2 pilots, 2 combat systems officers, and 3 to 4 aerial gunners who operate the guns and who do all the loading. We're excited to take Sam up and get some hands-on training and see what he can do and see how accurate he can be shooting the guns and actually loading the guns.
So this is the Ghost Rider, huh?
Yeah, it's essentially a bomb truck with guns.
You know, a few videos back, I got to fly on the normal variant of the C-130, and that thing was incredible. But I mean, this takes that platform to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I've loved working on it and seeing the impact it's had on the mission all across the world.
I can't imagine. I respect to what you do and just excited to be out here.
I appreciate it.
So this is the AC-130J gunship, the most heavily armed aircraft in the world. To the rear of the aircraft, we have a 105mm howitzer, which is dubbed the GAU XX, which is the newest version of the 105. To the forward of the aircraft, we have a 30mm GAU 23, which is a chain link gun. And then we have the capabilities to carry on the wings small diameter bombs as well as Hellfire missiles. And in the tail of the aircraft, we can actually carry Griffin missiles.
Now, when you step inside the cargo bay, the level of firepower on display is really tough to comprehend. The first thing you'll notice is the 30mm gun, which is capable of firing up to 200 rounds per minute, each roughly the size of a Coke bottle.
Each round blows up with the same force as a hand grenade, and let's just say that we have enough on board to do some serious damage.
The 30mm brings a lot of flexibility to the Ghost Rider's crew. The gun is on a trainable mount, which means it can pivot along 2 axes, making it easier to aim at the target without having to reorient the entire plane. The ammunition also feeds in from 2 different chains, allowing gunners to quickly switch to a second kind of ammunition if they need to take out a different threat.
Here in front of us, we have the 105mm howitzer, which is capable of shooting rounds that weigh up to 50 pounds.
50 pounds?
Yeah, let me show you.
Okay. Oh my gosh. For those of you watching, this is every bit of 50 pounds, and I can't believe you guys have to grab these and load them up every time.
Every single time.
This creates some serious firepower.
Very serious. Yeah, so this round and this weapon, the howitzer, is actually used by the Army. They utilize it on the ground. Here we have modified it so that we're able to shoot it in the air.
Flying artillery.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to try shooting this thing myself. That's gonna be crazy.
Let's do it.
I'm First Lieutenant Gordon Kowalkowski. I'm a co-pilot on the AC-130J Ghost Rider. One thing that's different about flying this aircraft is while we're in the gun orbit, we're actually maneuvering the plane around the guns. So in order to hit a target that's outside of the gun's maneuverable box, we will maneuver the aircraft in a way so that the guns can reach that target. And when the guns go off, you can definitely feel the recoil. When the 105 goes off, the airplane moves 6 feet in the opposite direction. And when the 30 goes off, it's just someone's kicking your seat the whole time.
Now, that massive recoil the 105 produces also causes the cannon to shoot back about 43 inches with 14,000 pounds of force, easily enough to do some serious damage to a crew member caught behind it.
This yellow looking cage that we have here is actually called the safety cage. This was built around to protect crew members from the recoil of the gun. So as long as you're not behind it, Sam, I think we'll be all right.
Definitely, I don't want to get a hand caught in there, a foot. I can't imagine the damage that would do.
You definitely don't.
I'm going to be making sure you're looking out for me.
Oh, we got your back.
All right.
At this point, it was time to head inside the squadron for the mission brief. This was my opportunity to sit in with the crew and find out just what to expect during my flight on the Ghost Rider.
All right, hey Sam, we're just gonna go over the sortie that we're doing today, but we'll have everybody in their seats, strapping in at 1600. We'll have you up front in the jump seat for the takeoff at 1630. After we take off, maybe 5-10 minutes after that, we'll let you go to the back. when we get overhead the range, and then we'll let you get on the 30 millimeter with my gunners, kind of get you a few shots with that, then get you back to the 105, let you load a few of the rounds. They're pretty heavy, but we'll see how you do with that. And then we'll put you in the seat as well so you can operate the sensors and then pull the trigger and shoot a few of the guns there on the impact area that we have out there at Melrose Range. And then we'll come back here, call it a day.
You make it sound so simple.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got any questions for me now?
No, I'm very excited. I don't really know exactly what to expect, but I'm sure I'll feel that thing. It's gonna be crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's a pretty good recoil. It's kind of like if somebody were to like kick the bottom of your chair kind of hard like you're sitting in right now. So.
Okay, I'll take you up on that. Let's see if it's like that. All right, well, thank you so much. I'll see you out there on the flight
Sounds
line.
good. We'll see you out there.
On my way out to the aircraft, I stopped by aircrew flight equipment to pick up a few pieces of gear. The first was a safety helmet for protection that also allows me to communicate with the pilots and crew, and the second was a pair of gloves I'll be required to wear when loading the guns.
All right, I got a helmet and a pair of gloves. That is what will be protecting me when I'm firing the 30 mil and the 105. Checks out.
After that, it was finally time to head back outside to load up for the flight.
All right, guys, we're about to load up here. I'll be honest, I'm feeling a little nervous. I know this isn't a fighter jet or a helicopter doing low levels, but I mean, the firepower on this thing is crazy, and the fact that I get to strap in and shoot it myself, it's gonna be exciting, but we'll just see how it goes. So, can't wait to bring you guys along.
Just like we briefed, I started out in the flight deck where I would be sitting for takeoff. As the pilots ran their pre-flight checklists, the rest of the crew was busy prepping the aircraft for our mission. Now, one thing I haven't shown you yet is probably the most important component of the Ghost Rider. This dual console computer system known as the MOP, or Mission Operator Palette. This is where all the weapon systems are controlled, including the cameras, sensors, and most importantly, the trigger. The MOP is typically occupied by the combat and weapon systems officers. However, today, when we get out to the range, I'll have a chance to take a seat and give it a go myself.
Sector 61, runway 04, wind 31011, gust 15, clear for takeoff.
After starting the engines and receiving tower clearance for taxi and takeoff, my flight aboard the mighty AC-130 was officially underway.
All right, Sam, we're at 10,000 feet. We got about 15, 16 miles till we get to the range, and then we'll start our shooting once we get all our stuff done over there.
All right, I'll plan on heading to the back.
Sweet, man.
Ready to load those guns up.
Yeah, absolutely. And to shoot them, too.
Yeah, it's going to be sweet.
Be a good time.
After making my way to the back, I grabbed my helmet and gloves and found a seat behind the MOP as I waited for the crew to finish prepping the guns. Before they're ready to fire, the guns have to be adjusted through a process called tweaking. This is very similar to lining up the sights on a rifle or shotgun, and for the AC-130, it involves firing rounds at different points in the gun orbit, so wind adjustments and other corrections can be made.
You want to take shots from different parts of the orbit because the wind is different as we go around the orbit.
Right.
And you got to remember we're over 1 mile away from where we're shooting, so that's why the wind can change from up here to down here. So that's for the tweak only.
Once all the tweaks were made, it was time to take my seat at the MOP. The first thing I'll say is that to some extent, it really did feel like I was playing a video game. The side controller where you see my left hand is where you change the position of the camera over the targets as well as the zoom. And you can actually adjust the sensitivity just like your typical Xbox or PlayStation controller.
Pull it straight back towards you. See that zooms in, and then push it forward. That's what you. So those are these two fingers are the ones you're going to use the most.
Zoom in, out, left, right. This is just like Call of Duty, guys. Enemy AC-130!
I'm not kidding, it seriously was. But anyways, once I had a fairly good idea on how things worked at the MOP, it was finally time to fire. Starting out on gun 1, the 30 mil, this was gonna be fun.
So you're good to go?
Is this the button?
It's the trigger.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so as soon as you pull it, the gun's going to go off. So you good?
I think I'm good.
All right, here you go.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
There you go. Atta kid.
I just fired an AC-130, guys.
And don't worry, because I promise we're just getting started.
Ground Inspector 6-1.
Pilot gun, you got guns 1 and 2 on the line.
Pilot copies.
Okay, so that was pretty cool, but I think it's time that we move to the gun I had been waiting patiently for. Yep, Gun 2, the 105mm cannon. For this, things were going to work a little bit differently. Instead of just pulling the trigger, we were going to simulate a real-life fire mission.
Alright, you ready for a fire mission?
Hell yeah.
This is how things would work in a real-life combat situation with friendly forces on the ground calling in an airstrike.
Spectre 6-1, Lobo 2-9. Fire mission, over.
That first piece of comms is from the simulated controller on the ground who is calling in the initial request for an airstrike.
Send it.
My position, OP jockey, no mark. Target location is 140, 530 meters. Group of 3 tanks in the open, no mark, over.
I then responded, send it, which prompts the controller to transmit the coordinates and target. In this case, a group of 3 enemy tanks.
Spectre 6-1 copies, looking. Tally target, 1 enemy tank.
Now this final piece of comms you'll hear is my favorite part because it includes a checklist rundown from the entire crew. As the WISO or Weapon Systems Officer, I'll relay the gun type, ammunition, and distance to target, which then allows the CISO or Combat Systems Officer next to me to confirm. It then goes to the pilot who has a consent switch up in the flight deck before going back down to the gunners who load the ammunition and confirm that Gun 2 is ready to fire.
Crew 2 Wizzo, Gun 2 trainable, prox, target 140, 530 meters, Wizzo ready.
Scissor confirms.
Arm 2.
Gun 2 armed,
Gun ready.
rounds away. Boom, that's a direct, let's go.
Spectre 6-1, gun ready. Lobo 2-9, rounds are on target, fire for effect.
And mop from the pilot, we're going to descend down to 9,500 just to see if it's a little less bumpy. 10,000 puts us right at the base of the clouds, basically.
So if you've stuck around this long, you'll know that there's still one thing I have left to do. Experience loading the 105mm cannon myself. As I pulled on my gloves and made my way to the rear of the aircraft, I realized this was not going to be the easiest thing I'd ever done. Handling 50-pound rounds at almost 10,000 feet in the air while experiencing some pretty bad turbulence, let's hope I brought my A game.
All right, Sam, we're going to get you on the 105, shooting some TP rounds. You good with that?
Good.
I want you to be absolutely careful because the turbulence right now is really bad. But remember how this works, right? You're going to take your hand, you're going to cup the back. You want to cover the primer at all times, right? You're going to take it out, slide it into your hand.
Okay.
You're going to swing over.
Okay.
It slides right in, right?
Okay, awesome.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
It was actually a little bit more complicated than it sounded, especially remembering how to arm it once it was loaded in the gun, but anyways, I gave it my best shot.
All right, it's already selected, so you're going to close your breech. Hit the F1, and then arm it. Are you gun ready?
Gun ready.
A little rusty, and definitely lacking the speed that an actual AC-130 gunner has, but hey, not bad for my first time. I gave it a few more goes, but then decided it would be way more fun to let the experts have at it as we finished up our final few rounds before landing.
Guys, I don't even know what to say about that one. I've been fascinated by the AC-130 ever since I was a kid, so to be able to come out here to Cannon, to fly with the crew, and experience firing those weapons myself, it was just amazing. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned something new, and I'll catch you in the next one.